Are you a busy mom that struggles to find time to work out? I have to tell you that time management is the biggest challenge for my clients. And today I want to dive in to give you some strategies to help ease that hurdle. So, last week in my community Facebook group, Moms Mastering Weight Loss Without Dieting, a couple people asked me if I would cover this topic of time. And I know it is a huge, huge, huge struggle for busy moms. Well, for anyone for that matter. I wish I could hand you an extra half hour every day to use as workout time, but I can't do that. And I actually believe that if I did hand that time to you, you would still probably find a way to struggle to make time to get their fitness in. So I can't do that. But I'll try to give you some actionable strategies to use to help with the situation. But before I get into that, I want to talk about some limiting beliefs about time and fitness because if you know me at all, you know that I don't often address any area of health and fitness without also addressing the mindset aspect. So we need to do that first. I think it's important in exploring your current beliefs about exercising and time. So if you'd like to get out a pen and paper or just think about this or do this activity later, there's just a few questions I have to ask you to reflect upon and answer for yourself. So, number one, how do you feel about exercising? Just really sit with that, think about that. What comes up? What feelings? What thoughts? How do you feel about exercising? And then the second question we can explore is how much time do you think you need to exercise to get to the level you'd like to be at, either fitness wise or body wise? So, what kind of time commitment do you believe you need to be making? Pretty much every single client I have who struggles with fitting in time to work out has experienced an incongruency in these two areas, one or the other, or both. Either she cringes when she thinks about exercising because it feels very daunting to her, or she has false beliefs that she needs to spend hours a day working out in order to get to her goals. So before we move on, let's just quickly go over these couple things. Number one, exercise. I actually despise that word. Well, it's not the word itself, but I do hate how exercise has come to be related to a negative framework. So exercising feels daunting and hard and done in a gym on machines for lengthy periods of time. So I like to use the word movement because that's really all you're doing is moving. And somehow it feels differently for me when I think about movement versus exercise. Maybe the same for you, maybe not. But if you reframe the connotation of exercise to movement, for me anyway, is the tension in my body and my mind may ease without having to do anything else. So maybe that's same for you. If when I asked you, how do you feel about exercising, you felt like, ugh, maybe that's something that you need to work on from shifting your mindset from exercise to movement. So if you hate exercising, maybe you can come to enjoy movement. So first shift the vocab, and then you can begin shifting how you feel about movement if anything negative still pops up, which we'll go over in just a minute. Before we do that though, let's go over the second question I posed. How long do you think you need to spend working out in order to get those results you want? I find that people often have an unrealistic expectation here, believing they need to spend hours a day working out to get the results they're looking for. And then if they can't find all of those hours, they just end up doing nothing. It seems to be an all or nothing mindset. I like to challenge that, and I'll cover that in a minute. But now that we've thought about and reflected upon your answers to those two very important questions, let's dive into some strategies you can start implementing in your life now that will help you figure out that time strain. Okay, so tip number one is to schedule it in. Here's a news flash for you. People don't actually find time to work out. Nobody just finds a random 30 or 60 minutes in their day. Time has to be made. It needs to be intentionally carved out somewhere. So typically what you don't schedule, you don't get done. This area is one that I find a lot of people neglect, which is basically the foundation upon which you build your fitness. You take time to schedule a dentist appointment so your teeth are healthy. You need to think about the same process for keeping your body and your mind healthy by scheduling appointments for movement. So schedule it in. Number two is finding movement that you enjoy. We, as humans, tend to prefer the path of least resistance. So if you're planning out your workouts and include things that you absolutely hate doing, the chances of you getting them done decreases significantly. So there is no need to set yourself up for failure right off the bat. Choose movements that you enjoy. Fitness doesn't have to look like a strict regimented gym schedule. It can include things like Zumba, tennis, rowing, or challenging hikes. It doesn't have to be running and lifting weights if those things make your skin crawl, right? If you love adventure, head on over to an indoor rock climbing facility and go play for an hour. That's an incredible upper body workout in itself. So think outside the box, grab a friend and head to a park for an hour and come out with some workouts to do there. Get creative and have fun with it so you can start shifting your mindset from dread to joy. The tip number three is to have a plan. It is best to have some kind of idea laid out for what you're actually going to do when you work out. Focusing your efforts on that plan will be way more effective than wandering around aimlessly. It's okay to have a plan that you can modify if need be, but having a laid out plan for the week, something that looks like what is the focus of each day, what exercises will you do each day, and these are all in alignment with what your ultimate goal is, right? Okay. Tip number four is commit to sweating for 20 minutes a day. I'm not going to suggest working out for 90 minutes a day. That just feels way too daunting and unnecessary for most people. So finding 20 minutes a day is a much more manageable task, and you can get a really effective workout in just that short time frame. I guarantee you can find results in just 20 minutes a day if you're setting a plan that is aligned with your goals. But keep in mind that because it is a shorter period of time, the intensity level is going to have to be a little bit higher to make sure that you're maximizing your efforts and finding efficiency in your workouts. Okay, the fifth strategy I have for finding time, making time, sticking to a schedule, is to track or journal your progress. We as humans love positive reinforcement. We enjoy doing things if they're getting us somewhere. Most people struggle to continue doing things if they feel like they're not seeing results, right? It seems hardly worth the effort. But oftentimes the results you get through fitness aren't noticed because we tend to focus on one measurement, i.e. the scale, as a source of progress and only that one measurement. So it's really helpful for you to write down your workouts and track things. How many reps you did, what kind of weights you used, and how you felt both during and after the workout. This way, as time goes on, you can look back on your journal and really notice how far you've come and the progress you're making. No matter how small it may seem, there's something there. And these observations are a great way to reinforce your appreciation for fitness. Okay, on a final note, if there's one thing I see in common with women, especially moms, it's that we have a really hard time setting boundaries. And when we finally have had enough and manage to set those boundaries, we tend to protect them with very wavy lines. So the final component behind finding time to work out is to ensure that you have those boundaries around me time, you've communicated those boundaries with those around you, and you stick to them like your life depends on it. Only then will people begin to take you seriously and really honor the fact that you respect your time. There's often resistance in the beginning, but much like fitness, if you stay consistent, the path becomes easier. Before you can fully embrace these concepts, fitting in your workouts will absolutely feel like a hurdle too high to jump. I hope that gives you some things to think about. Let me just recap everything and summarize it all for you. So first, what you're going to do is explore your thoughts and beliefs about exercise itself and the time requirement needed to reach your goals. A little bit of exploring the mind before you can do anything else. Next, you will schedule time in every single day for your workouts. 3, make sure that you're choosing movement that you enjoy. 4, make a plan, write it out, be prepared. 5, commit to 20 minutes, just 20 minutes every day. That should be manageable. 6, you're going to track or journal your progress. so you can have that positive reinforcement over time. And finally, the seventh tip is to set your boundaries and protect them like you would your babies. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. That's it for this week. If you enjoyed this content or found it valuable if in any way, I'd love if you would share or subscribe. So thanks for being here, and I shall see you next week.